Welcome back to Showcase Pittsburgh. I'm John Klein. Right now, Josh Contraguerro back from Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. Welcome back to the show, Josh. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
If somebody's not familiar, maybe they've seen your big red trucks all over the tri-state area.
Yes.
Give us a little background on Panhandle.
We're a full-service disaster restoration firm specializing from fire, smoke, and storm damage to water, sewage, and mold remediation services.
So if something bad happens in a house, the first person they should call, maybe their insurance company, but and do you work with insurance companies?
Directly with them. We work hand in hand developing a scope of the job all the way to the final payment. And
is this something where, God forbid, a fire disaster happens, and I would think that you guys would be on the radar for that, but water issues in a house are going to be probably more substantial than fire.
Yeah, fires are devastating. They can involve an entire building, house, business, but the sheer number of jobs a year, we see a lot more water losses than fires. So
that's something where maybe if somebody does live in a flood zone or a floodplain, it could be a disaster. We've seen video on television where they're in rowboats in their backyard, but there are other issues that would involve water too where Panhandle could help.
Yes, just to kind of clarify, a lot of people think just because there's water in their house that they're being flooded. Okay. Flooding does not cover all forms of water damage in our industry. Flooding is usually defined as water coming across land that's normally dry and entering a building.
Okay.
So if it touches the ground before it enters your home or business, then you've been flooded. Things that a lot of people see on TV, the creeks and streams flooding into these buildings, and they think, okay, that's flooding. Well, that would be it, but there's a lot of other types of water damages also.
We had it years ago when we had a hard rain, and my son had been throwing tennis balls over the roof, and it clogged the gutters, and the gutters overflowed into our basement.
Exactly.
And I tried to get a flood claim, and there's like, no, it doesn't work that way. But that's a situation where Panhandle could definitely help.
Yes, and we can help explain what truly happened, what was the source of the water, and what caused it to enter the building. We can also help with the client if it isn't covered. We don't only work with insurance claims. We work if you don't have sewer backup coverage and your sewer's back up during a heavy spring thunderstorm here, we can handle that even if it's not covered and help the client out.
What if the sink line breaks under the sink, or your pipes freeze in the winter, and then kitchen, basement, bathroom, whatever?
Yeah, and with the different forms of these water damages, the source is the key when we come in. So knowing whether it was a clean water loss, meaning it was a supply line, or if it was a highly contaminated water loss because it was a sewer, a true flood from outside, that can dictate whether or not what we can save. We've highly invested lots of assets into highly sophisticated equipment that can save these items if it is a clean water loss. We can now save flooring, cabinets, walls, where you used to have to go and tear everything out and get new and set you back months of construction. We can be in and out of there in a matter of days and save these items as long as we're in there in a timely manner, are called, and it's a clean loss.
I would assume something where the longer water sits and it soaks into things, the more damage. So calling right away is probably one of the key things.
Yes, calling, get us out there. We're 24 hours a day, so we're responding no matter what, just to start that process of getting that excess water out so it's not seeping up walls or down through other levels of your house or into these other building materials that are harder to dry.
Is carpet savable?
As long as the right circumstances, yes. If it's that clean water, but if a toilet overflows and runs down into the hallway, it's coming out.
I would assume that's something too where we've all had a toilet overflow in a house, and then all of a sudden you have a spot on your ceiling, and then all of a sudden it ends up on the carpet, and it's something that's it's a chain reaction of things happening because we know we have a problem, we ignore it.
That's the biggest thing. A lot of things, it's the small details and the small items that turn into major issues. Even as simple as changing your washing machine hoses and lines, just because those valves and those washers dry out, and then you come home to a house that's flooded just because you didn't change a $5 item.
And that's something that's easy to do, and people don't realize that things wear out over time, where maybe those washing machine hoses are 30 years old in the basement, and you're going to have an issue someday.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's out of sight, out of mind, but we try to bring that awareness and get it back out there, just get people thinking and kind of looking at what they have.
Is that something where when you go into a house, are you able to save or repair most things, or are some things just a total loss? Do you know that immediately?
We get a good idea as soon as we step foot on the job what's going to be saved, what kind of plan of action we're going to develop. Are we going to save these kitchen cabinets, or they have to come out immediately, and things like that. That's every loss is different almost type event, so we truly get our trained eyes on it and can go from there.
Now, does Panhandle, once things are cleaned up, is that where Panhandle's finished, or does Panhandle move to the next phase?
For us, it's the next phase. As I said, we're the full service restoration firm, so once that structure is back to a stable condition and dry and able to have new drywall hung back up and new insulation and new flooring, we handle that all on our own. We have our own drywallers, painters, carpet installers, kitchen cabinet lines that we can help the customers and be that one-stop shop, so they're not searching for 52 different people.
Yeah, that would be the scary thing, I would think, where if you had a disaster, somebody comes in and cleans up and then they leave, and then it's like, well, now what do I do? Where do I go? And that's where Panhandle can help.
Exactly, and water loss is where a lot of times everyone thinks the supply lines are breaking, the flash flooding and things like that. Another around this time of year that we see a lot of is major damage with trees being uprooted and hitting roofs. So now you've just added a lot of water damage because the rain's coming in, and now your roof's trashed, your trusses, you need a lot of exterior work, and that's something that we handle also. So from that night going out there and tarping it so that no more water gets in, to removing the tree, we handle everything to getting it back to go.
Is there anything that you see, a problem or a situation that comes up more than others that could be diverted, that maybe if you point it out now, it's like, oh, I should take care of that?
Yeah. A lot of, for instance, with the trees, things like that, just kind of watching, you can kind of tell whether some are kind of dying or a little bit too close to the house for comfort and think, hey, where's that going to fall at? Also, a lot of people are getting ready to kind of maybe do some landscaping and maybe regrade a house. Make sure it's kind of graded the right way, and if you have sewers before your garage, make sure that they stay clean. A lot of times when these thunderstorms come, they brush leaves and other debris, clog those sewers, and then they're going right into the house.
It's into the basement of the garage.
Simple maintenance can help go a long way.
If somebody needs more information, just go to the website?
Just go to our website, like us on Facebook, Twitter, and then also feel free to reach out, give me a call at our office, or 800-504-7054.
Very cool. Thank you, Josh. Great seeing you again. If you'd like to know more about Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, call Josh, 1-800-504-7054, or go to panhandlecr.com. Coming up next, Courtney Wright and Brian Osterride will join us from PPG Paints. That's on the way on Showcase Pittsburgh.